Alright, people, what's up? I got HoN Tour, Gold Division back again. I'm way behind, and there's pretty much no way in hell that I'm actually going to be able to catch up to where I want to be in time for Cycle 7, so what's likely going to happen is there will continue to be... Oh, shit, people, what's up? I got HoN Tour. Twitch is on the background because I was watching DreamHack VODs. Everything's fine. What I was saying was... by the way, yeah, this is solo cast. Sorry, nobody decided to show up, so I figured gotta get some content out there when I can, and I can. So screw it, I'm going for it. What I was gonna say was I've got way too much stuff. I'm only in the losers bracket, like round 2 and round 3. I still have the winners bracket semis. I still have parts of the losers bracket round 2 to do, even though this is round 3. I'm skipping ahead for reasons I won't mention. But I will obviously go back and do those matches too. Semifinals, round 4, losers semis, winners semis, losers finals, grand finals. I have a lot of series left. There's no way that I'm getting to all of them before Saturday. So, unfortunately, what's probably going to have to happen is as Cycle 7 moves forward, I'm still going to be mired in Cycle 6, and then I'll be behind on Cycle 7, and that's probably not going to be catching up because I won't have a longer break to catch up on Cycle 7. So, likely as the... Season 3 playoffs start, I will hopefully be caught up by that time. There should be a bit of a break after Cycle 8 ends and before the Season 2 playoffs starts. And then I also have planned to cover whatever I can of the Season 3 playoffs, whatever isn't covered by various other outlets I should be able to pick up. So, give me a shit ton of HoN to get casted in the next several months, and hopefully I will manage to do most of it, catch up on it and where I can, but for now we do have a game that is well underway because I started the replay and then went away and forgot that I'd started it and came back. I'm like, I'm not going backwards because whatever. Bans for Legion side are Cthulhu and Parasite. How we're going to take out the Swiftblade and Tempest, so the only jungle option available is that Ophelia, and both of the strength initiators are left available. Ride My Rocket on the Legion side, choosing to go with the Magnus first pick and the Hellborn and the counter with the Kraken. Both of those heroes very, very popular at this point. Not quite the consistent ban stage, but they're definitely getting picked up whenever they're available, pretty much. That's going to lead into Glacius and Ophelia for RmR, both strong heroes that we see a lot, and the same goes for Rhapsody and Bubbles on the Hellborn side. Second stage of bans is Soulstealer, Reactor Pulsar, and Keep It the Forest for Imbapengu, Madman, Silhouette, and Pharaoh, going to be taken out by Wake of Gods. As Legion side, focus a little bit more on short laners, and then have that jungle/suicide option and Keep It the Forest get taken out. Hellborn going to be doing some fairly across-the-board bans. Silhouette, a short laner, Pharaoh typically a suicide, and a Madman. A hero that can technically fill both roles, but one that really thrives much more in the suicide role, I believe. So, focusing a little bit more on the long lane possibilities for this Ride My Rocket team, figuring I don't have too much in the way of that, and unless they were going to go for a Magnus Suicide, that is definitely the case. Wretched Hag is the 4th pick, and that's going to be countered by the Illuna on the Hellborn side, so we're perhaps looking at the tri-lane from Wake of Gods. Illuna and Rhapsody, both very strong tri-lane heroes, and Kraken and Bubbles, excellent solo laners, so they definitely have the capacity to run a man-up or safe lane tri-lane, depending on which one they would prefer, if they want to do that. And at this point, I would much prefer that they, in fact, do that, because I don't like Kraken dual lanes personally. And we pretty much never see Bubbles dual laned for very good reasons. He just doesn't need it, and he needs the solo experience, so don't expect that. Looks like Wake of Gods should be looking at a tri-lane in one of their 3 lanes, and we'll see how Legion side responds to that. They already have the Ophelia picked up, so most they can do to counter that is a pseudo tri-lane of their own, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them go for it. Ophelia here that can go in the aggressive jungle, so if the Hellborn side decides to go for a short lane tri-lane, that pseudo tri-lane option is still in play. But Valkyrie, at this point, I would imagine they're looking for a safe lane Ophelia. Sorry. Or a safe lane jungle Ophelia. Glacius and Valkyrie likely going to be laning together, as the Valkyrie is the last pick for this Legion side. I believe Pingu is currently playing the carry role for RmR. And Forgotten One, obviously the hard support. I think Boss is the Ophelia player. Qzane is mid, I want to say, and Cookies is Suicide. I'm not really sure. I haven't actually seen this RmR team more than a couple of times, and obviously lots of stuff has happened since the end of WoP Dash, and since the Forgotten One, I believe, was removed from WoP, right? Yes. and then that team turned into something else, and I forgot what it was. That lasted for like half a second. And then, anyway, crazy stuff going on, but okay, so the Hellborn basically have the most telegraphed aggressive tri-lane in the history of HoN. It's going to be the Ravener, Rhapsody, and a Luna long lane, tri-lane, short lane Kraken, mid Bubbles is my assumption. Could be a short lane Bubbles and a mid Kraken. But I'd slightly prefer to see the Bubbles in the middle lane. I think he controls runes a little bit better, and he doesn't do as much with the short lane farm. So definitely options available for the Legion side in terms of how they want to lane this, because they should see everything coming from the Hellborn team. And I wouldn't be surprised if this turns into a pretty good fight from the Legion side, just because Hellborn are so goddamn obvious in what they're going to do. Stu, if you have the time to be in chat, you have the time for co-cast, you son of a bitch. So, yes, a penis team. Ride My Rocket. They're called Ride My Rocket. I believe that is subtlety for get on my dick. Subtlety, a very commonly spoken language among morons. Anyway, they're going to throw the Hag actually in the short lane as their option. I don't feel like going to be in her own woods. Given the obviousness of the Hellborn tri-lane, this isn't actually the lane setup I would prefer to do. So I'm kind of annoyed that they're going for it. Really, Ophelia should be in the aggressive jungle here. You see all these wards from the Forgotten One. That's going to be able to spot out the rotations from the Hellborn supports in this long lane, but it just makes a lot more sense for Hellborn to stick in the Hellborn jungle, where she can, come down through here and gank the middle lane, which is at this point looking like it's going to be Bubbles. Bubbles going up against a dual lane, it looks like, in Glacius and Magmus, and with the Ophelia ganks, they can definitely kill Bubbles a lot of times. Being Richard Hag should be actually mostly okay against this aggressive tri-lane. They do have a lot of stuns and nice setups for the Ravener Ball Lightnings, but as long as Pingu is relatively safe, they should be just fine. And you can see the Wards of Sight here blocking out the Ophelia camp, so she will in fact transition to the aggressive jungle. And like I said, I really, really enjoy that move. I think it's absolutely the right path to go. So it's going to be a Suicide Valkyrie up against a short lane Kraken. Hellborn going to be countering in the middle lane, dual lane with the Bubbles, which is one that he should not win, but he should do mostly okay in this situation. He's going to need to take cover relatively quickly. Obviously, he has Shell Surf level 1. And in the bottom lane, it's going to be, for now, a dual lane of Aluna and Ravener up against essentially a Suicide. Twister Fusion versus Soul Sea Game 2, and I think it knows since Warby's had Abyssal, screw Arthur. Alright, Cannon. Thanks so much. Anyway, Ophelia back in the Hellborn Woods. Gonna get spotted out by Rhapsody here, who's apparently gonna do some roaming, and Glacius actually come over here as well. They really don't have the capacity to slow or kill her, so Rhapsody will be just chased out of her own forest. And we'll see what that means in the middle lane for this Bubbles. Actually, Magmus dodges their Shell Surf. Shell Surf. Apparently I can't talk right now. It's fine. I'm sure that won't affect the fact that I'm supposed to be talking pretty much exclusively for the next hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever, how long the series takes. And the bottom lane, actually, Aluna gonna have to be a little bit careful about this. She has her power throw, but taking a fair bit of damage from the HoN. Actually, Wretched Hag down to half health, but gonna lose lane control here. And Hag pretty damn close to this Ravener. If he turns this around the Ball Lightning, things could get kind of bad. Power throw right in the face of the Wretched Hag, and she's gonna drop the HoN onto Aluna. Both of them actually dropping pretty low, and Pingu could end up winning this kill. Yeah, Aluna not really happy about where that went, I don't think. He's gonna be forced to take a health pot. Obviously couldn't stay in it longer, otherwise she would have Hag would have died, but she had the blink available, so never really in too much danger. Yeah, I know D&D doesn't stop IMs, but oh well. If somebody whispers me, at least it'll stop that. It's a good thing to have on in general. So, Pingu down here, not doing all that well. Pretty much as expected, 100 GPM for him. And probably won't be doing too much better as the lane progresses. Level 2 Haunt, that's on top of Aluna's face, and will continue to be spammed. Obviously, it does about the same amount of damage as Sonar Scream. The difference and the reason that you want HoN over the Sonar Scream, even though it does not do immediate damage, is because of the lower mana cost. So you'll often see a Suicide Hag or a Hag in a situation like this where she's in an unfavorable laning situation, maximize the HoN to be able to max her harass. Actually, she's middle lane, the Bloodlust is there, and we'll just go back to the beginning and watch it. Glacier's coming in from the side with the flank. Actually, the Couriers here, they do upgrade it. Nice take cover, going to stop Lava Surge stun, but still not enough as his Shell Surf just never got off. I don't know. Weird. I'm really confused as to... I guess the Shell Surf was still on cooldown or something like that? Whatever. At least they didn't lose their Courier. We've seen way too many of that in the last couple of games. Taking some damage in the bottom lane, but top, it is the Valkyrie versus Kraken. Haven't talked about this lane too much, but Valkyrie currently at 200 GPM. Kraken hanging in the 270 mark. It's not a huge surprise, really, as Kraken has the tankiness to stand up to Valkyrie in this lane, especially considering it was mostly a 1v1. Rhapsody actually going to roam up top now, as will Glacius and Ophelia, so both sides looking to make some action happen here. There's a Word of Sight from Elgul on that Rhapsody that actually spots out the rotation from the Legion side, and it will result in them playing relatively passively, because they don't want to get jumped and killed. I do commend Valkyrie for going what I consider to be the correct build here. 3 into the Call of Valkyrie, and just 1 into Arrow and Leap. As actually, Val could be in some trouble here. Gets charged off, but she still has a Leap available. Gonna need to time it correctly, and she actually could be in some trouble. Will leap over the trees and take a health potion. I don't think Kraken can stop her as a result. Yeah, Valkyrie gonna be just fine. Pingu actually dying in the bottom lane as it gets caught on by the ball lightning, and actually the last auto attack from the Storm-bladed Ravener is sufficient to get the kill. Luna not picking up an assist there because she's a useless hero who is terrible at everything. But Kraken will lead a freeze in the top lane, and obviously there's a pretty nice combo here from the Legion side when the freeze leads into an arrow. Valk obviously typically has issues setting those up, but with Glacius's immobility spell, much easier. And this Word of Sight actually doing a lot of work. Gotta commend Rhapsody for putting it down where she did. It's gonna spot all these Ophelia ganks, and it's actually gonna be pretty decently difficult to de-ward. I think it might even block this camp, and Oph just hasn't tried to take it yet. But obviously, usually you see the ward a little bit closer to the center in this area, but a Word of Rev may not immediately spot it, depending on where it's placed, if they expect the ward to be there. And of course, if they don't expect the ward at all the better. Middle lane, Magnus absolutely crushing this Bubbles. 350 gold per minute compared to the sub 200 of this Looky fellow. He's actually the top farmer in the game, beating out even the Ravener in the bottom lane, who's more or less manhandling this Wretched Hag. Qzane didn't even get the Bloodlust, and actually a different guy in the Ravener got a kill on that Wretched Hag. So look at the CS score, 34 for the Magnus and 29 for the Ravener in second place. Not bad at all. That's going to be an early portal key for Qzane, and he's going to have to make a fair bit of work with that, actually, because the rest of his team is farming pretty poorly. You look at the Wretched Hag, just under 100 GPM, just over 200 GPM for both Ophelia and Valkyrie. So if they want to progress on this RmR team, and they definitely do have some late game potential, much more than the Hellborn side have, so if this game goes late by any means, it's going to be RmR's favor. But in order to get there, it's going to rely on Magnus creating some space and having some good ganks, nice team fights with his Eruption and Lava Surge combo on the back of that portal key. He's going to be delivered Steam Boots, I assume, here. Yes, and that's going to be good on top of his bottle. Some efficient charging and nice runes would be very helpful. Rhapsody in the top lane. No way that she's surviving that call. Valkyrie gets the kill. Release the Kraken right on the head of the Valk, and hopefully charge back into the tower. Level 3 Ophelia does not want to stand up to a tower there, but no realistic chance of killing her. As if Kraken had actually done that differently, charged him back into the tower and dropped the ult on Ophelia's face, I think he would have gotten a kill out of it. But a futile attempt to save his buddy leads to nobody dying on the RmR side. Pretty typical item pickups so far on both sides. Ophelia going for the Ring of Sorcery, and she has the Pickled Brain and Boots, actually, so a little bit more of the aggressive Ophelia build, and you can certainly see that in her playstyle. She is constantly trying to set up ganks, but As I've mentioned several times before, this ward at the top lane, preventing her from doing it effectively. Shuttle Surf used aggressively here by the bubbles to farm, and Magnus will take that opportunity to put some harass damage in. I wonder where Lava Surge, and actually, this could be a kill. He's waiting for it. Kelpfield is used. Here's Aluna as well, and there goes Bubbles back in, but this is going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm really not sure why Magnus didn't steam bat there, because I'm pretty sure he would have the kill. And it's the power throw that's going to snipe him. Let's go back and watch that, because that was a hell of a range. Mott's with the angles and the skill shots. Still a terrible hero, but that stuff's kind of pretty. Bottom lane, meanwhile, looks like Ravener's been left alone, as there's been a transition, and that's going to be the cue for Glacius and Ophelia to come in here and try to get a kill. Should be pretty easy. Ball lightning goes through on Glacius. He's trying to position himself so that Ravener can't jump to it, and we'll see if they can actually get this. Yes, they can. The slow from Oph, or the nuke from Oph, very, very helpful on that. And it will be a kill on a different guy, so his 350 GPM farm is going to be a little bit stifled here, and Imba Pingu will be allowed to get back into this lane. Aluna going to return as a result of that kill, and actually they're going to jump on top of her. She will take the haunt. She'd be pretty damn slow. Thunder Blast goes there as well. They're looking for the last couple of auto attacks here. Pingu wants the kill and will get it. That was a little bit too close to not getting the kill in my taste. He clearly wanted to make sure he take it. He took it. Yeah, anyway, that Magnus kill, and speaking of that, Bubbles in the middle lane is definitely going to be going down here. Has the double damage, but that's not going to save him by any means. Nice gank from Ophelia once again. And in the bottom lane, Ravener. Actually, lane war going to go out here, and they definitely should have spotted that. There was no other reason for Glacius to be that far up. So, hopefully, you will be able to spot it.
The Legion have overrun.
Anyway, tower dies. Ball lightning not going to connect. Aluna's still looking for the stun here, but there's really no point in it. There's absolutely no way that she's getting this kill onto Pingu. And that's going to result in a bot tier 1 tower push for the Hellborn side. That's going to
the Hellborn have overrun a Legion FOB.
Result in a tied tower situation. But by the way, yeah, that's lack of kill from Magnus in the middle lane on the bubbles, where he subsequently died to the power throw. I'm sure he would have had a kill if he had just dropped the Steam Bath. Like, that's all he had to do. Anyway, Mott's dies in the bottom lane. Top lane, Kraken falls as well, as the arrow actually connected onto him. So, Skeleton King into the Javelin, and that's a kill. And now Legion are owning all of a sudden, actually. They're up 7-2 in hero kills, which is somewhat sneaky. They did not get there all of a sudden. They gradually built up to a pretty solid lead, in fact. Nearly 3k gold and just over 4,000 experience up at 11.5 minutes, or not 11.5, just 11 minutes in.
The Legion have overrun a Hellborn FOB.
Middle lane, Looky gonna take the death as he gets jumped on by a couple of heroes. Missed that. Sorry, I'm busy insulting people in Twitch chat because that's how I interact with my environment. Mott's dying as well. Top lane, Kraken also going to get caught by the arrow and killed. As all of a sudden... I'm missing all sorts of stuff because Twitch chat is enjoyable. Oh well. That's just more time where you don't get to hear my beautiful voice of failure and sadness. I hope you're all okay with that. Anyway, Raveners picked up a portal key here relatively early on, so they're definitely going for an aggressive make on this Hellborn side. That's their strategy. And I can't say I disagree. They're not going to win this game if it goes past about 30 minutes. So they're going to have to make some action happen. They're going to have to make it happen soon because the Legion side are up 10-2 in hero kills, and they're not. This is not an insubstantial golden experience lead for a team that has the late game. So honestly, I haven't even considered how bad it looks for WoG right now, but it looks pretty bad. Like, this is not the position that they wanted to be in with their lineup. If the lineups were reversed, things could be better. But actually, portal key into the arrow. And Bubbles dies. So Magma showing up his brand new PK. He's also level 11, which means he's got a level 2 eruption. And I wouldn't mind if they made something happen of that. Top lane Rhapsody going to try to man fight against Richard Hag. Not going to win that battle as Hag drops all of her spells. And that results in some pretty serious burst damage. Kraken going to drop the Torrent onto Hag, and she will just blink away as he couldn't find the charge. He actually missed it early. Is beautiful. Just meanwhile, Magma's gonna eat the Valkyrie Prism as he tries to go for the kill onto Aluna. That's not gonna be successful as the port goes through. Top lane, another Prism goes through onto the Hag. She's just gonna drop the Haunt on Kraken's face and blink away. Here comes a double damage Valkyrie with a Glacius arrow right in the face of Kraken. Gonna stop his teleport, and that's gonna be a pretty easy kill as there's no way Crush is getting out of that one. So 13-2 hero kills in 14.5 minutes. And like I said before, if the lineups were switched, then the Hellborn might feel a little bit better about where they were. But RmR is the one that's got this as it goes later. So the fact that they're up as much as they are right now, the fact that they have a 400 GPM Magnus who's going to triple stack the Ancients, or not do that actually because they're already triple stacked. Looks like he's just going to kill him. And he's not sure if he wants to actually use the eruption, but blink out. Glacius is here, presumably going to drop his ultimate. Yeah, there it is. So they will clean up this stack. Magma's trying to set up the Lava Surge once again to get as many of these as he possibly can. And he's going to get pretty much all of them, in fact. He's going to get all of them, so that's not bad. I wouldn't have minded giving a couple to the poor support Glacius, as they will catch out Valkyrie in the top lane. She's going to try to run away. If all lane is the miss, actually, in the Energizer, is going to allow her to get away. Portal key up in 7-6 seconds for the Ravener, so she's going to have to be creative in terms of how she does this. She's going to try to TP on out. They will be seeing her, and yet the Cicadas are there to finish off Cookies, so they do finally kill her.
The Legion have overrun a Hellborn FOB.
And apparently there are links to pornography in Twitch chat, so that's just great. Anyway, Eruption being channeled up here will be dropped right on top of the Rhapsody. Going to be a counter kill on the Glacius, though, and Magnus could actually be in some trouble as 3 heroes from the Hellborn side collapse on him. Charge misses once again, but not enough as Ravener's Ball Lightning is there, and the Stormblade's just a little bit too much damage. So that's the kind of engagement that WoG need to have a lot more of if they want to get back into this game. They are continuing to fall behind, as Ophelia is actually pushing the bottom tower all by herself. She has 3 minions up. She's level 10 with 370 GPM all of a sudden. Where the hell did that come from? She's going to lock down the Kraken here, and they should be able to kill the tower. I don't even go for the deny. They're actually rather clean with the Ophelia creeps. I don't agree with that decision at all. It's nice to get those, but much, much better to get the tower deny, and they don't even get anything else out of this. They will get the Vagabond, so Skeleton King, the only one going to survive. Triple Slash Ancients on the Hellborn side can be taken as well, but this is nice with double supports. You do want to do this as much as possible and farm them up whenever you can. On the other side, on the other hand, farming isn't exactly what the Hellborn team needs to be doing right now, And I assume Bubbles has a portal key because he has absolutely no money, and he's currently at 150 GPM, so maybe not. Maybe he just doesn't have any money. The courier doesn't seem to be bringing anything to him, so nice they took triple stacked Ancients. Less nice that they gave none of that to Bubbles so that he could get his PK. And even less nice that they gave none of those to Kraken, considering he's about 600 to 700 gold off of his own portal key. So I'm really, really miffed, actually, at where all the gold went. There's absolutely no reason why Ravener needs 450 GPM right now, considering his early PK build. They need to get something else in the rest of this Hellborn side so they can start taking some team fights, they can start making some efficient ganking happen. And that's just not going to be the case if they continue to stack all the farm onto this Ravener. Yeah, some solo casting. It's sad times. Valkyrie up top, farming aggressively once again, and sort of looking to get collapsed on. And there's a ward of sight here to protect her a little bit, but she actually has the game sense to get out before she's in any trouble anyway. So Cookies will be just fine, 340 GPM for him. Pingu recovering quite nicely after a poor start, 326 GPM. And meantime, in middle lane, I do catch out Elgol on the Rhapsody. Absolutely no way that she can get out of that. Kelpfield goes on to just the one, but the Valkyrie Prism is active, and Aluna actually going to get caught by the Skeleton Kings and killed pretty damn quickly as the Valkyrie call is there. Ball Lightning be missed, actually. And Valk looking to turn this onto the Ravener. She has no mana, though, but Bat Blast is going to connect, and Ravener, all of a sudden, in a lot of trouble. Sonar Scream finishes him off, and they will get 3 kills out of the engagement, ultimately. And perhaps even a tower kill. And that will be the second tier 2 tower of the game dropping in favor of the Legion side. And no, this is a different Cookies. Not the one that plays on Absolute Legends, because that would be dirty ringing, and that's not allowed. Kraken going to try to get the charge off. Actually, he did get it off, but it's going to be interrupted by the Lava Surge. The arrow's not going to connect, or at least the Kraken does slow Glacius down a little bit, but he doesn't have too much mana anyway. It will still be a kill on Kraken as the second Lava Surge comes through. He tries to charge with that arrow. Actually, auto attack is going to follow him and get the kill, so nice pickup once again on the side of RmR, up 18 to 5 in hero kills, 14.5k gold, 14k experience, and if I'm WoG, I'm looking to go to game 2 relatively quickly. I mean, maybe take one more fight if you want, but this isn't good. Because I just don't see any realistic possibility of the Hellborn team coming back on this one. The Legion side are really, really far up. You look at the GPM charts here, 4 of them are over 340 gold per minute. Just one hero over 250 GPM on the Hellborn side. And they have no capacity to farm anywhere. They've lost map control as their entire jungle is exposed. They have none of their own. They've only taken one tier 1 tower. And they really can't farm the Legion woods anyway, even with how mobile their heroes are. They're constantly getting picked off even on their side of the map, and they don't have too much capacity to drop a straight-up team fight or take this game extremely late. So I just don't see the road to redemption for their lineup. Doesn't mean it's impossible to come back, of course, so maybe they're just counting on some pretty serious throws from this Legion side, but it doesn't look like RmR are interested in dropping the ball whatsoever. They're making some pretty smart rotations. They're using the Valkyrie Prism to pretty solid effect, and you can see that in the hero kill scores and the GPM across the board. They're just doing great. Anyway, Nurse Blessing is there as Ravener's catching out Pingu, but it's not going to be enough, and Luna's going to fall back here in the background. Nice ultimate from Rhapsody. She won't fall, but nope, the Bat Blast is going to be enough to kill her. As Forgotten One on the Glacius. It's a 1-for-1 trade for the support. Call of the Valkyrie actually missed because Looky in the bubbles was fogged. And Ravener popped the Shrunken Head, but that's going to wear off now. Kraken trying to chase somebody down, but there's nobody to chase. Going to charge Valkyrie back into the cliff. Ball Lightning is available in a couple of seconds, but there's no mana. Eruption gets right on the face of Ravener, and that's going to be another kill. Kraken teleporting away, and he will be just fine. So, in the end, it's 3 heroes dead for the Hellborn team, including 1 support and their hard carry, or their 1 roll, to be more accurate. And more Ancients being taken by this Legion side. So RmR firmly in control of this game, as I've said multiple times. And looking at their item progression, mostly pretty solid. Hag going for the light branch. He's presumably going to be turning that into Grimoire power. I think she probably has it already, actually. She has 350 GPM, and at 22 minutes she should be close. Yeah, there it is. Ophelia with the Astrolabe and the Push Book and the Ring of Sorcery, so lots of teamfight-oriented items, and guess what? They've been doing a lot of ganking and teamfighting, so I like the build, and I like how she's been utilizing it. Magmus picked up a Push Book after the Portal Key, so that's going to be 2 Push Books on this Legion side. Very nice against a Ravenor and a Kraken. Not as great against the Bubbles, but it also stops the Rhapsody Ultimate, so some pretty solid stuff there. Makes a lot of sense. And Glacius mostly just sitting on hard support utility items. Not a huge surprise. He is only 150 GPM despite the fact that RmR are doing so well. Valkyrie going for the Lightbrand and Energizer build as well as the Ghost Marchers, so she's kind of fast. And she's getting another Quick Blade here, so it's looking like she's going to go for the Nullfire, yeah. And that's going to allow her to purge a lot of stuff, including the Ball Lightning, I believe. So that'll be quite valuable, and also slow people down, of course, and steal mana away from a Hellborn side that's very, very mana dependent and doesn't necessarily have the best capacity to do that. Ravenor, in particular, a hero that really likes to keep his mana pool up as much as possible. The Portal Key, Ball Lightning, and Stormblade's combination costs him a fair bit. And if he doesn't have a pretty high mana pool, then he will not be able to use his spells. So I'm being distracted by Twitch chat once again, because they're all a bunch of babies. Anyway, Word of Sight here does block out the Ancients, so that's going to continue to prevent farm on the Hellborn side. Not that that's what they should be doing anyway. And out of all heroes, Ravenor should not be one stacking the Ancients. He's going to eat a 5-second arrow. You know it's on the creep, and he gets the Shrunken Head off. He will be able to get away. Bubbles is going to drop the Kelfield, but the Pharism goes down. They do get dusted out, and we'll see if Valkyrie can actually get at this. Release the Kraken does hit a bunch of heroes, but they're all lined up for the Eruption. That's going to be huge. Everybody getting crushed. 2 dead. Rhapsody Ultimate a little bit late. Glacial Downpour and the Freeze doing a lot to stop this Rhapsody, and she should be falling in the background. Kraken trying to hit the charge on Glacius, not going to find it. He falls in the end. Aluna throwing out the Power Throw, not going to be enough, and that's a Genocide in favor of Legion's side. The only hero they lose is the Valkyrie, and if that's not representative of how this game was going to end up, then I don't know what is. RmR just manhandling their opponents here. And normally I'm a fan of the they could come back, this is fine, but this is one of the few instances in which I see relatively no path to redemption for WoG, as I've been saying for a pretty long time now, because when I don't have a co-caster, I tend to repeat myself a lot. But for the sake of completion, let's go over the Hellborn items. Obviously, the Portal Key's been picked up on Ravenor along with the Shrunken Head. He's had both of those for a little while now. Kraken has finished off his PK, as we see a CC vote being called. Bubbles still without a Portal Key, and at 167 gold, and that's going to be the game, in fact. So, bit of an anticlimactic CC timing, but definitely warranted, as the guys on RmR take that victory in about 25 minutes. So, final thoughts. Let's go to Quincy first. And that's funny if you've been reading Twitch chat. And now's the part where I cry a little inside, okay? And I don't know if there's anything more to say about that I haven't already, but basically, RmR, nice draft. I think they did outdraft the Hellborn side a little bit. Their lanes were just so staggeringly obvious that it was pretty damn easy to counter them. And then the assumption that Ophelia would stay in her own jungle against a tri-lane that she really couldn't do much against, especially when they saw the Wretched Hag in the bottom lane, didn't make a lot of sense. They tried to block out her camps in the Legion Woods, and that's just that she wasn't going to be there. Like, they probably should have assumed she was going to move jungles, because Ophelia can do that after they saw the Wretched Hag. And I believe that they placed the wards after they realized it was going to be a solo Hag in the bottom lane. So I do want to say that was a bit of an outdraft. Not even that I liked RmR's draft all that much. I think that it had a fair number of weaknesses in it, and it could have gotten punished much harder than it did. But that just was not a great series of heroes to pick from the guys on WoG. And it's when you do that sort of thing, you're going to leave the other team way too open to taking advantage of your errors and to be able to make some errors of their own. So that's more or less where I'm going to end up on this one. And that'll do it for game one here as RmR takes it. So stick around, guys. We'll be back in a second with game 2.